This week on Pivot with Purpose.
You literally are so bright that there's some people that think that your light is gonna dim theirs when it's like, girl, I can light yours.
You know when you have a lighter and it like you feel like it goes but it doesn't spark, and then you get a lighter that is lit and you put it together and then lights the other one?
It's like, I can light yours up, but there's some motherfuckers out here who take that damn light and light up the house on fire.
Right.
That was not the fucking purpose of the damn candle.
That was not what it was.
You were supposed to light somebody else's candle and then we can have
and we were supposed to
a
spread
candle
it
ceremony.
around. What's happening? Yeah.
You are now an arsonist.
Welcome back to another episode of Pivot with Purpose. We're back. Thank you for showing up for another week. The past couple of weeks have been fun. We've done some solos. I gave you an update. And now this week, I decided to be very cutesy, very mindful, very demure. You see, like, I'm not like those other podcasters. I bring you cute people to come on the show. You know, those other podcasters just complain about what they got going on in their life. I'm very mindful, and I bring guests that are very mindful of themselves too. Jim Gurley's very demure.
Very mindful.
No, seriously. This week we have Didi.
Hi.
Have I talked? I think I've talked about you. Maybe
Yeah.
not. Hey, she's been in the behind the scenes now for a little bit, and I'll explain more as to how you came into my life. But thank you for coming.
Thank you. I'm so excited to be here. I've always been like behind the scenes, so now I'm in the chair and I'm like, oh wow, this is different.
Okay, y'all go, what are my hands? What do I do?
What do I do?
I'm on camera. So she's a BTS girly, but I'll give you more information as to why I felt compelled to bring her on here, especially after a rant that I had on social media recently. So first we're gonna start with a Florida man story because, you know, Florida girl here, 407 Chapa City, brah, brah, brah. Back to demure and cutesy. Sometimes it goes away. So this is, I always find a story about Florida because especially right here in Central Florida,
material.
we like to do some things sometimes that just be like, we keep the country going and entertained at the expense of others. So there was a Florida doctor that was not wearing her hearing aid or his hearing aid and couldn't hear when a colonoscopy patient was screaming in pain. So he's deaf. So according to the, can you imagine? First of all, colonoscopy is your ass. Booty hole.
Oh God.
Yeah, booty hole. They gotta go up there, okay? So according to the Florida Board of Medicine, this doctor, Dr. Prasad, couldn't hear the patient yelling, in pain because he wasn't wearing his hearing aids and he's not allowed to perform any more colonoscopies.
So he was the only
now.
one there?
You know what?
I got questions. I got questions.
That's a good question. So here's what it says. So they took disciplinary actions and they said his failure to wear his hearing aids during this colonoscopy left the patient screaming in pain.
Right. So
So in one instance, the Tampa Ambulatory Surgery in 2023 says Prasad improperly delegated the task to a surgical tech, another complaint. And the tech did not have medical license, but was instructed by him to perform at least one inappropriate task that includes the scope insertion into the booty hole. Okay, so I think there should be someone there, but if he can't hear the person screaming, he probably can't hear the tech.
First
either.
of all, how did you get so far to tell? I just want to know how he got so far without the hearing aids. Like, and it's like, did you do that on purpose?
No, so he wasn't wearing his hearing aids for at least one, if not both of the procedures detailed in the complaint, rendering his surgical team unable to effectively communicate with him. So there was a surgical team there. And the person that was screaming that felt it, I'm pretty sure he's not gay or bottom because he probably would have been like, I'm used to this. So whoever it was not used to anything going up there. They
I just feel like
there's no lube. How big is the
no,
scope?
I don't even want to. No, because I've had another, like, not a colonoscopy. I've had an endoscopy, and I was like out for that. I'm like, I can't even imagine if they're trying to put it on my back end, baby.
So it says that the doctor did not immediately stop the procedure when it became apparent that the patient was not fully sedated. He just kept going. What's the word called? Sadist? You know that.
That like when people
like inflicting
people get
pain
hurt.
into people.
That's
weird. You like inflicting pain onto people.
I don't like that because it's like, first of all, you can't hear. Why you went out with no hearing aids? That don't make no sense.
How old is this doctor? Is my
That's
question.
what we gotta evaluate.
So really, here is you have to vet your doctors the same way you vet your men. Actually, I don't know how good y'all vet your men.
Matter of fact, don't even say that because they obviously not doing that correct.
So vet your doctors. Make sure they can hear. Make sure they can see. Make sure they have feeling. And
that's scary because most of the time, like, think about it. Have you ever had a procedure when they like you're not seeing your doctor, you're just seeing the nurse, and you're just like praying to God, like, you know?
No, you got to meet the doctor first.
Do you?
Yeah.
I don't know. I feel like, well, I have only had like a C-section. That's like my biggest thing. And I didn't know who it was. I was just like drugged. But I think that's a different situation because they're going in for a scheduled procedure.
Right. It's a
So
scheduled
that could
procedure.
be.
But even when you're about to give birth, you're typically with the same doctor. And then if you happen to go in and there's an emergency section, yes, it's a doctor that you don't know. But with Ayana, I knew my doctors and they came in for that. And then for Psalm, it wasn't any of my doctors, but they came in beforehand and like introduced themselves and they talked to me. I don't remember much.
Yeah, so y'all ask for your doctors. Like, can I speak with them real quick just to make sure they're
sane? But I got
other
procedures, yeah, and just like, do you hear? Can you hear me?
That's scary. See, that makes me like uneasy about the medical field.
Like, and at this point, we need to ask them if they have any mental health issues. Are you on medication? Like, are you okay today? Like the pilots, we should also. When I get on the planes, I always ask the pilot, "How you doing? You doing good today? You doing all right? Smell your breath."
Let me smell your
breath. Yeah, so in Florida, be careful when you're getting your booty holes checked because apparently they might hurt you a little bit. They might hurt you and they don't hear you. Or if you like it, you might be all right. If it's your thing, not judging you.
Well, you might want to hit him up.
You're not going to stop. You're not going to stop. You're going to keep going. All right, so another thing I did start with the whole demure thing, and we're going to talk about the topic, but I'm bringing this up because it's going to tie into what we're talking about.
Okay.
So recently there was a creator on TikTok that came out and started this whole demure thing. I know a lot of people are like, if I hear demure one more time, what is demure? What does it mean? It's just demure. Apparently the actual definition is somebody who's soft and like delicate and put together, just very sophisticated, woman, man, person. So she's on TikTok, starts it, and it becomes a thing. Now it catapulted to going viral. Everybody's speaking about demure.
All of it.
And what I'm starting to notice online is people posting, I can't hear demure one more time. When is this gonna stop? If I hear demure one more time, this is so stupid.
I saw that meme. I sent it to my best friend. She was like, yeah, that's me. Which I get it. Because, sometimes when things catch on, it gets like exhausting.
I don't get it. And you know why I don't get it? And why I want to actually talk about it? Because it has to do a lot with what we do.
Okay.
I hope, and I saw it was Sheila Marie who did a reel about this on social media, and I was like, I absolutely agree with her. She was saying sometimes there are creators online. There are 8 billion people on this earth, and sometimes you're online, we're all online trying to do certain things, and something catches on and it catapults into being something huge. If that happened to you, she says, I hope that your moment to shine, people aren't trying to speed it up. This is her moment.
Right.
The money that she's creating and getting in opportunities with this whole demure viral trend, she's paying for her transition. She's paying her bills. Her life has changed. And it's like, why are we rushing her 15 minutes of fame? If you don't like demure, then keep scrolling. It's just that easy. I just get feels from people that are like just complaining all day, like, why is this demure? It's so annoying. Get the fuck off the internet, clearly.
Yeah, we need 2 weeks because it's going to have to take some time, right?
Go to work. Turn it off. Go outside for a walk. You don't have to be on the internet. You don't have to use Instagram. You don't have to use TikTok. You can go on.
But you know what? That's a deep thought, though. That's a deep, because I honestly didn't even think about it. I'm just over here like, I just like how it sounds. You know what I'm saying? And
so
you're
rolling with it.
You're
roll
like,
with the
because
punches.
you
And
love
the second
it,
that you don't like it anymore or it's not for you, you keep scrolling. You keep it moving. But this is a person that probably has been on social media for a while, creating content, and boom, it hits. And the day that one of my videos hit, and it becomes a thing that Kim Kardashian is using, that the politicians are using, that the celebrities are loving, that every podcaster is doing, I would love for people to continue to embrace that and to ride that wave as long as possible for me to be able to then, continue to monetize it and grow it. Ride the wave. If you want to get off that wave, baby, go to land. Go to land. Let us
How about
over
the
here
social media
fun.
deactivate?
And there's times that we need deactivation, but I just couldn't believe that I kept seeing people so upset and like, and there's and to you.
I feel like just sometimes when things catch on, people are like wanting to go like against like what everyone else is doing. But the first time I heard it was this past weekend, and that was so funny. I was at a creator fest. It was called Creator Fest. It was a whole creator conference, and that's when I was like, someone was like, "Did you hear about Demure?" And I'm like, I kind of heard about it, but I didn't understand it yet. And so I went into the sound, and then I saw like the original videos, and I was like, oh, okay, like it made more sense. And
then you see Kim Kardashian getting her hair done, talking about Demure, like how I keep my lane.
That's crazy because it's just like one little like that was a small video.
That's all it takes.
And I love that it came from, and this is the part where I love, once I kind of went into the profile and kind of saw like the creator, I love that it came from authenticity.
Yes.
And a lot of the time, especially like, you know, as a trans in this era right now, even though it's become more accepted, it's still a lot of like scrutiny. There's still a lot of hate. So I feel like even though the creator was able to show up authentically, regardless of how she would be perceived, I say she because I'm pretty sure he's gonna she's gonna be it wants to be, you know, seen, but also it's like you're gonna be perceived at some points. I love that it was authentic though.
Right.
So that's what I love. That's why I love it more. Now I'm like, and I identify. I'm Demir. I'm very mindful. Look at how I showed up today. I'm very mindful.
It's like, is she not gonna stop? Why does she need to stop?
No, she needs to keep going.
There is
we want more
world of internet out there that you can spend in. So I just brought that up because in my space, like, there are things that do go viral. There are a lot of clips that we clip for our clients that go viral. And it's like, let them ride the wave.
Right.
You don't have to be a part of it. It's fine.
You don't have to love it. You just got to accept it.
Right. So if you're one of those ones that is like, oh my God, I can't wait for it to be done. Yeah, I'm talking to you. Calm down, because if it happened to you, if you had this opportunity to really be able to monetize and grow your business or your brand, or get opportunities to be with Kim Kardashian or with Kamala Harris somewhere, or on TV or on radio, you would take it, and you don't want people saying, oh my gosh, shut the fuck up already.
Yeah.
You wouldn't want that.
You would do it too.
So treat others the way you would like to be treated. And if you don't like the creator that created it, keep it moving.
Block. And you'll never hear the sound again.
You can literally go on Instagram, and if there's a hashtag of Demir, you can block the Demir hashtag, and nothing with Demir will come up.
Yeah.
It's that
Look
easy.
how easy.
Instead of complaining. I'm in this space right now in life where I don't want to be around anybody negative. Yeah. If you don't have the drive to do better for yourself, if you're just sulking in misery, I can't have you around me, because my dreams right now, and I'm going to talk about it on another episode, my dreams right now and how motivated I am seeing Kamala Harris on that stage.
I saw you posted that last night.
Outside of the politics and outside of like the fact that there's a Black woman that really will
minority,
probably
Black.
be
I think
president.
that is a strong.
I feel like, I'm talking about that later.
We'll talk about that another time. Tune in next episode.
Tune into that one, because I will probably get emotional. But boy, let me tell you, like, it's just working hard. Yeah. And you probably see that creator and it's like, oh my God, they just made one video. No, they made tons of videos. Yeah. This one caught on. And that's how it works. It's like one of those pyramids or icebergs when people show you see the peak of the iceberg.
Right, you see the success, a whole bunch, but not what it took to get there. Right.
So with that being said, today I wanted to talk to you because I remember meeting you, from my perspective, I worked with Felix.
Oh, right.
So I was working with Felix, and I started seeing you with Jenna, and then Felix, he was like, I was getting on him. I'm like, you need help. You can't do all this on your own. Like, somebody has to like help you do certain things. And I think you were one of the people that he brought on. And he was like, I'm having this person do this or whatever. And I was like, okay. So then I start watching. I watch people before I do anything with them. I'm a stalker, and I'm like, okay, what they got going on? What have they posted? How are they acting on social media? Who are they around? And then I hit up Jenna. Hey, see you walking around this girl, like, what's up? Right. Oh, what's her attitude like? What is her character like? And I keep watching. And once I watched, there was an opportunity for you never know who's watching.
Yeah.
That's the biggest thing. You never know who's watching. So I don't know why I hit you up the first time. Do you remember why?
No, so I'm gonna tell you how it went. No, you had posted, because I will watch you too. You wasn't the only one watching. I was watching you too. No, because I always like, if there's like, especially like a woman that's doing better than me, I always am like, how did she get there? What did she do? How can I get in a space with her? Like, I'm always trying to like get around people who are doing what I want, or like are in the same mindset space as me. So I was always watching your stuff, like, you know, and until you go on your rant, I will put my phone up. I'm like, let me listen to Carla's story, because you always have stories. I'm like, let me listen. So that's why I felt like I already knew you. So you had posted, like, hey, anyone, I need someone for a content thing.
For the radio station.
Yes, you had posted something like that, and I DM'd you, and I was like, hey, like me, like I'm interested. I slid in my DMs, you know what I'm saying? Slide in the DMs sometimes for opportunities. You didn't. She didn't respond, y'all. She left me on red. I was like, oh, bad. I was like, I'm gonna give her a week. And I was like,
I received
but I knew you were busy.
I was busy, and I received a lot of responses to that. So from there, I said, let me watch.
Right. Okay.
Who is consistently messaging, who is consistently watching, and who is consistently working. Right. And by working, don't get it confused, for me, it's not who's out there making all this money. It's
Right.
who's out there actually perfecting their craft.
Right.
And who's out there working in what they're saying they want to do versus like doing one thing today, another thing tomorrow, leaving it behind, then on social media complaining about I didn't get paid for this or and it's like
how you moving. Yeah.
So I think that's when then I noticed it and I put two and two together. And that's when I ended up.
And I re-messaged you. I messaged her again. I was like,
baby.
I was like, hey, I don't know if it's still open, but I'm still here. It was something along the lines like, hello, ma'am, I'm interested still. And then like, it was just like that message. You were just like, all right, come tomorrow or like come on Tuesday or what. You just told me today. I'm like, all right, I'm pulling up. I'm like, I'm pulling up.
And that's another thing that I do. And I have had that happen to me. So really the way that I operate is in the way that people have put me in position to be somewhere. I will stalk you.
Right.
I will message you. And you've done that. May, who is my right-hand person and when it comes to most of my business stuff, she emailed, DM'd again, sent story, like everything she could, went on my lives and would comment. Like, and so I noticed her and finally I was like, okay, I guess I need help.
I wish I see
but
you.
she came with value.
Yeah.
She really came with value. So you continue to do that. I brought you on. And then from there, at that time, if I want to ask you to recap real quick, ADHD brain, she's in her 20s. You are more than a decade younger than I am.
Oh my God.
Okay. God damn!
Let's not say that. But yeah.
Shit. But this is actually part of the reason why I wanted her on here. Because are you Gen X?
I don't know what I am. I don't really know. I think, am I a millennial? What is
You're
1997?
definitely not millennial, baby.
I think I'm like at the cutoff. I'm 97.
No.
I'm 97. I'm 97.
Let me see.
What does that mean?
Gen X dates. Let's see. 65. No, wait. Oh no, Gen X. It's not Gen X. Gen Z. I'm sorry. Gen Z. X is the older ones.
Gen Z. I think am I Gen Z?
I think you might be Gen Z. You're with her, I think. 97 to 12. So you're right there.
So I'm the first year. I could have been. What was it before that?
Millennial.
So it's like I kind of have that.
You're in the cusp of it. You give mature vibes, but I think that has something to do with something else we're going to talk about.
Yeah.
Because you have put yourself in a position. What were you doing when I called you in to come into for radio? Like what stage were you in?
Okay.
Because I feel like in a year or year and a half, you made a big like leap into this world.
I feel like every time just to give out, this is the third podcast that I'm on, and I was talking to my best friend when I was coming in here. I'm like, wow, the difference between my first one versus now, I feel like I'm a whole different person. Mm-hmm. So at that point, I was already about 6 to 8 months into just being like on my own in content, and I was a assistant for Christina, the IV hydration nurse here. So I was her assistant. So that's how I got into it.
Which is extremely crazy because a friend of mine
really
actually did her social media before you.
Really? Oh, okay. I think I know who you're talking about. Mm-hmm. What is it?
Paula.
The one? Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. Because I think she's like, oh, I know her. She used to like work with them. I'm like, oh, okay. So I kind of knew her a little bit because she had told me. She's like, oh, I used to work with her before. I'm like, okay. So that's how I started. So she did her IV hydration workshops, and Felix was the one who did the content. So that's how I met Felix. That's how I met Jenna. So. And I'm telling you, the first workshop that she did as her assistant, I was so terrified, y'all. She said, introduce yourself. I was like, baby, please don't make me do that right now. So I was such like sheltered in. And I feel like that's what kind of exposed me to feel more comfortable speaking with Felix. So I was freelancing content, but I wasn't obviously where I am right now. I was like grinding teeth. I was trying to like get into
And that's
rooms.
a year and a half ago.
Yeah.
A year and a half ago.
A year and a half.
So that's it. In those 18 months, I remember you didn't have any experience in radio, but neither did I.
Yeah, I know.
Neither did I.
I never done that, but hey.
They gave me a morning show.
I'll learn.
I never did radio. I don't even know music. You know what I mean? So it's like they gave me that opportunity. It was great until, it ended. So my thing there is you showed up when I said show up and do what you have to do at your age. And one thing that I don't see from the younger generation, because I'm getting older. At 6'6", Bay sent me a video of a baby. Like it was like the aging progression from a baby to like a 75-year-old woman. Mm-hmm. And that stuff makes me really nervous.
Because you're in the middle.
I'm in a space right now where it's like, these kids don't look at me no more and think I'm 21. They now see me like, that's a
señora. Yeah. Señora vibes. Stop.
Not señora.
Stop. That's what when the
señora's like 60.
No, but like these young kids will try you. They think we're old for real.
Get out.
Not me.
Get out.
But like I'm close to 30, so I was like, once you pass 25, it's all like downhill from there, y'all. No, I'm just kidding. 30s looks good nowadays.
Don't do that in a Gen Z podcast, baby. We is old over here. This knee right here,
It cracked.
it's swollen.
Oh,
Swollen.
but you've been working out though.
Right.
I see you though. I'm so proud of you, by the way.
Thank you.
I see you and I'm like, because I know you used to always, let's do it. And you finally did it. And I'm like,
girl, I had to go and drop a
so
bag because I said, I'm not doing it alone.
No, that's good.
You showing up on your own. But see, you show up very demure, very cutesy, and you walk out very cutesy. I walk in cutesy, mindful, and walk out like
very tore up.
Yes, fucked by the time I'm done. But what I don't see from the Gen Z is that drive to get it.
Yeah.
It's like they're waiting for it to come because we have this works in both ways. They think, and from what I see, it's going to come to them.
Yeah.
Somebody will DM me. Or somebody will come to me where it's not supposed to work that way. You're not waiting for it to come to you. You got to go to it.
Go get it.
And by the difference between your generation versus mine and the Gen X is that we had to literally go in the car.
Yeah.
I literally, when I
knock
started
on doors and
8 years ago, was me taking flights and going to Atlanta, me going to New York, me going to Atlanta, me showing up in different conferences, spending the money.
Yeah.
Now all you got to do is send a DM or a few. Keep DMing until they see it.
Until they see you.
Yeah,
Right.
keep going on their lives until they see you. And commenting is like, I'm trying to get a hold of you. You keep going. I've gotten plenty.
Yeah.
I will do it. And I've done it. Abu Fofana was one of my clients. He was on a live. I had DM'd him already, nothing. In his live, he's showing something about podcasting. I was like, you need me. Hey, I've been trying to reach you. Hey, boom. We ended up launching and stuff. I was like, don't do that by yourself. Let me do it. Let me do it. And don't listen to nobody else telling you what to do because they don't know what they're talking about. So you have to go towards it. And then something very that you just said that I also don't see a lot of other people doing, and that's what makes you and stands you apart from most, is that you go in rooms with people that are smarter than you. Baby, or are a couple levels ahead of you. And that's what I do. I see someone like Stormy Steele from Canva Beauty. Watch her and I'm like, I think she might be younger than me. But it's like, you did that. B. Simone is one that I watch and I'm like, let me take, she might hire me for this. She might be my client, but while I'm there, I'm watching what she's doing.
And you're going to get more value.
Absolutely. Megan Ashley that I watch and I'm like, the way that she has chosen to stand and what she does and how she does it and how she speaks and what her beliefs are and has not wavered from that. I have brought some huge guests to Megan that Megan's like, not aligned right now. Same thing with B. I was I'm not aligned right now. So producing that show sometimes I'm like, oh yeah, this is going to be great. And when they say no, I'm like, oh, no. But I have to understand that one, they stand very firm on their beliefs, which is why I don't interview anybody. I don't work with just anybody. But at the same time, I have to be in those rooms because they expose me to not have those limiting beliefs that my mother put on me, that society puts on me, that men have tried to put on me, that friends sometimes put on you. You can't do that. So for you to say, hey, let me go and see what she's doing makes a big difference. Now at 26, how do you see? Because I didn't have that mindset at 26. I was downtown popping.
I was outside. Not very demure of you, but but
it wasn't very demure, but it was cutesy and it was Richie and it was money.
Right.
No, but I was outside doing like a whole different type of business. And I wasn't thinking about, oh, who's doing it better. I was just like, I got to get as much cash as I can. Right. At 27, what do you look for in people that you want to learn from?
I feel like a big thing for me is someone who obviously, like you said, is steps ahead of me. And there have been moments where I've had people that have been at the same place as me and then have passed me. And you have those moments of like, oh, why her, you know? But when I do have, and it's real, and if you say you don't have it, you're lying. Like, we do have moments where we really sometimes are jealous. And if it's healthy to be jealous, as long as you use it like in a healthy way. If you use that, oh, like, wait a minute, if she got there and she was just like me, probably even worse or whatever, I'm like, wait a minute, maybe I'm just not putting myself in the right places. So I feel like I was in corporate America for a long part of my
what did you do?
So I've always worked customer service. So I started off, when I was in high school, I did a dual program while my senior year. So I did dual enrollment at Orange County Tech or Orange Public Schools Tech. And I did hospitality and business management. So I did that for a year. So straight out the gate, I was out of high school working at a Hilton Grand Vacations. You're like, whoa, I made it. Working a nice little uniform, guest services. I was like, as an 18-year-old, I was like, I made it. Like, that was it. That's what I studied for. That's what I wanted to. But quickly as I got into corporate world, I really did realize that all of the things that people said, people from the past, from, you know, my parents, all the things that they used to tell me, I feel like were heightened because now an employer was also telling me, Didi, you're too much. Hey, you're too loud. Talk too much. Hey, like, I always felt like in corporate spaces I was dimming my light consistently. And then once I got into call centers, that was a little bit more chill because you're not seeing face to face. But after that, I worked insurance sales. I did insurance sales for not only health insurance, like private companies, but also work with hospitals, also work with like big companies selling auto, health, home insurance. So I have background in that, in sales and customer service. And I enjoyed it until I didn't. I feel like slowly throughout the time, it just kind of like my light just, you know, like when something is colorful and it starts to fade, that's like the only way that I can explain it. Like explain it is like me genuinely within myself, I felt like I was fading. I felt like every job I would start, it's so sad to say, but I would say to myself, Didi, don't do too much here. Just blend in. Just, I'm crying. Don't do it. I'm doing it to myself. But I would always like go somewhere and dim my light. And I was tired of it. And I always felt like a robot. Like I was just like a robot with these companies. So once I transitioned to a couple companies after COVID, 2021, shout out to COVID. Shout out to COVID because COVID, yeah, it did. And after that, I just
shout out to COVID.
Shout out to COVID.
Like,
but you know no, that's messed up.
Disrespect to the people that
without,
really like.
Right,
y'all know what I mean.
You
just
know,
the fact that it changed the trajectory of a lot of people's lives without dismissing the fact that a lot of people had a lot of hurt behind COVID. Right.
So, but I do feel like at the end of that, I was working from home because I was at that point at a health insurance company. Baby, we were the only people working, okay? I was not getting unemployment. I was not getting that. If anything, we were working more hours because I was in the health insurance and everyone and their mothers had a claim. Everyone was hospitalized. So just imagine that. Until one day, I was just like, I don't want to do this anymore. I kind of stopped showing up and I'm very responsible. I will never no call, no show. I always put my 2 weeks. I felt so guilty, but it was either leave them like that or leave myself to like rot in a way in this job. So that catapulted me doing my own thing. And it didn't start with content. I've felt like I've always been like in the entrepreneur realm. I always wanted to do something. And I felt like I just wanted to find a place or something for myself. So I ventured out into different things. So I started off with like doing crafts. I did t-shirts, mugs, cups. I started off doing that. I had my daughter in 2019 and she was very demure, very mindful. Like I had her so girly. And then I started making bows and selling bows. So like this entrepreneur thing, guys, is not new. I sold cups at vendors, markets. Love like that. I've been through like
that's a personality thing because it's very. When you're talking about you felt like you were dimming, you were fading away. Yeah. For me, that felt like anxiety. Yeah. I felt like, I don't know what restless leg syndrome is. Like for real, the actual.
Like just chill vibes. It is. Yeah.
But no. So restless leg syndrome is like when you can't, I always say that's what it felt. I was sitting there and I'd be like, I can't sit here. I can't breathe. I can't be in this cubicle anymore. Now I'm an accountant by trade. You know, so it's like I'm making almost $100,000 a year, have full benefits. Like I had everything I wanted.
The perfect dream job.
The perfect dream job to get the white picket fans, but I had a drug dealing boyfriend at the time, so it wasn't white picket. But you know, whatever. It is what it is. At the end of the day, it was like, I don't belong here.
Yes.
And I started the podcast while still working. And then I told them I was going to give them till December. And one day in October, I said, I'm leaving next week. And they were like, they offered me more money. And I said, you can offer me an extra $100,000. I won't stay. Right. I won't stay. I don't know what I'm going to do. I know I got some savings, but I have to go. I'm just going to follow the passion of this podcast. I don't know where it's going to lead or why I'm doing it, but this is where I'm going to go. This is where I feel like I need to go. So sometimes it's a feeling, it's a hunch, it's a spiritual thing. So I'm glad that you followed that because what's the worst that can happen? Every time somebody comes to me and they're like, I don't know if I can do this or that. What I would say to that is like, what's the worst that can happen? Will your children die?
No.
Will you die? If you lose all the money you got right now, do you got your mama's house that you can go to for a couple of months until you can build it back up? Do you have a degree or some experience that you're like, you know what? The account now is really low. This is not working out right now. Let me go back to accounting. Right. I could still today go back to accounting for a year, save some money, and come back and try something else again. Like
worst case scenario, I feel like with people that have that pull, that passion to pursue what, you know, God is putting within them, sometimes we're like, well, what if it fails? What if it's like, you know what? That's probably what if plan A doesn't work out for you, guess what? You still have plan B like everyone else. You can go get a job. You can go find another way of living. It's like.
And then it's like, it's like, oh, there's no jobs. There's so many jobs.
Yeah.
I worked from Build-A-Bear. I worked at a Orlando Water Sports Complex. I worked at a cardiologist. I worked at the hospital. I've had the most random jobs. You have no idea. I worked at a retirement place. I worked at there were lawyers at a law firm for banks.
Okay.
Everywhere I worked. And it was just like, I just got to get the check in order to fund whatever else I got going on.
You're doing.
It's like the money, I need to still make money. There's no room for me to go just towards my passion. Like, no, there are responsibilities living in this country regardless. We live in a great country. And at the end of the day, you still got to get shit done. The American dream means you're going to work like an American car.
Right.
Hard,
baby.
Vroom,
to the
vroom
floor
out there. Like pedal to the metal, you gotta go, and then things will start falling into place. But there's no like horse and carriage to here in America where it's like things are just gonna fall into place and throw pedals at you. That ain't gonna happen. You gotta go and get it yourself.
There has to be both parts, because sometimes people believe in like, and I believe in, prayer, affirmations, manifestations. I love that. But we cannot just sit in this little chair, pray and manifest and affirm our hearts away and think that's it. It's like, no, we cannot do that. We need to go out there and actually put in the work and put your part also to be able to receive the things that you're asking for. Because if you're asking for a good man, I want a faithful husband.
And you out here hoeing.
And you, baby, I promise you,
your
man is not in downtown popping bottles in the section right now. Yeah. I promise you right now. I promise you.
Birthday and it's just a one night thing.
He's
you're not gonna find him out there. He's gonna be out there one time. So
right.
It's
a very slim chance. So if you want, let's say for example, a wealthy man, a loyal man, where do you think that man is? Do you think he's at the country club, baby? He's at the business meeting. He's at the business conferences. That's where you need to put.
He's being very demure.
Very mindful. So you need to be mindful also when you're praying and affirming and all these manifestations, that you're actually putting your part to also make things happen.
So this is right there, James 2:14, literally from the Bible. Faith without works is dead. We've all heard that. People love to say faith, like, oh, the Lord will provide. The Lord is looking at you from down up there. Like, yep, still sitting on your ass.
And he's sending you things, and you still continue to just be,
still sitting on her ass. Oh, still sitting down, not doing much. Praying. Oh, Lord, yes, please bring it to me. But there's no work. Right. So it is dead. Faith without works is dead. And what does the work look like? Because then you hear it and you're like, all right, that's just a Bible verse. Faith, the works means DMing, hustling, doing DoorDash. Right. I did Uber.
Girl, I feel like everyone done Uber. I've done Uber too.
Not Uber Eats. I did regular Uber because Uber Eats wasn't out yet when I first came back from New York after quitting my job, because I left to New York for 3 months. I barely had any money left, still podcasting. I was like, well, let me start Ubering, make some extra money and get some content.
Something.
I meet different people. We'll talk about what it was. It's like you have to be creative with the ways and how you're working. You never know who you're going to meet.
You never
when you're
know
outside,
who you're going
and staying
to meet.
home constantly isn't gonna help. Now, I am a homebody now. I don't like going to very many places. There's not very many conferences that will get me out there. But
I was like, oh, I'm about to say, I was like, you stay indoors, girl. I just saw your stories. I'm like, she was out here in Mexico. Where else?
No. I stay on a flight in a hotel on the beach. Yes, I'm very mindful, very cutesy, very demure on the beach. But no, those breaks I take now probably quarterly. I gotta hop on a plane and leave.
That's good.
But it's because those 3 months, I'm constantly Zoom calls, emails, on social media, creating content, putting out work for clients. And then I'm like, well, I don't know if this is going to work out, but there's a very big rapper and we were doing some episode with him. And I said, I'm going to fly out there. I actually don't have to be there. For a lot of my clients, I don't have to be on set. But there's times that I'm like, I need to go. And this is a flight expense, a hotel expense, a food expense. And I'm like, I'm going to take it just to be in the room with certain people so they can see me. They can see this is my production. This is what I do. Hi, nice to meet you. Here's my number if you ever need me. And when they think about something, I got to need her. For me, it was months. Yeah. And this man hit me up and he's like, hey, I need your help. And I was like, pick up my job. But again,
because you
my faith was there. My work was there. Therefore, it went in. It was alive. Like I planted a seed. You have to continue to plant seeds everywhere. Now, my thumbs are brown, not green. Yes. The only thing I can keep alive is a little fake plant right here. This is the only thing that I can keep somewhere alive.
With my thumb.
Outside of that, No, but I plant seeds everywhere.
Yes.
My gardening in the real world is real. I'm constantly
I agree with that 100%.
dropping it somewhere, and you never know. It rains, it pours, sun comes out, and then one day there's a seed. That seed became a seedling, and now they're calling you. So you know what? I think you might be able to help me.
I love that. I agree 100% with that.
You have to do it that way, and I think I cannot stand people that are complacent. And sometimes we need, and complacency does not mean entrepreneurship. It doesn't mean get on Instagram. It doesn't mean any of that, because there are people that the 9 to 5 is what they're best at.
Right.
And if they don't work that 9 to 5, I can't be an entrepreneur.
Right.
Because I have my producers and my assistants and Courtney and Kaysen and May and Paola who helps. I need them to be the best at what they do.
Right.
But they show up. And they find different opportunities for themselves too within the realm of what they're doing. In corporate, for me, it was constantly looking for a job that was, if I'm feeling like, this isn't working for me anymore, or I don't feel fulfilled, either within the company trying to make myself another position or find a different company that has a better position.
Yeah, because what we're talking about, like I said, it's not just entrepreneurship.
No.
And it could be related to relationships, faith, like, your work. It could be everything. Because I have friends that are like corporate baddies, and they're killing it. Like, they're managers or regional managers. I'm like, good for you.
My
because
best friends,
some people, that's what they love. They like to have the benefits. They like to have the structure. They don't want to be in charge of 10 other people.
This is stressful.
It is.
Figuring out, like, I don't have a check every Friday for the past 7, 8 years, 6 years. I don't know how
there's
long
nothing
I've been doing
steady.
this.
You got to like literally go hunt your money.
It's I'm constantly looking for more opportunities, but you have to keep going. And speaking of that, this does fall into every aspect of your life. So business, you're killing, right? You're putting it out there. You're planting seeds everywhere. Now, one thing that I will talk about that I've been talking about recently with my friends is that has to be in every single aspect of your life. And one of the reasons why I've taken more seriously my health right now, it's because one, Psalm. Yeah. So he's extremely active, and I'm like, man, I'm tired. So I have to keep up my life. And if my discipline is not on point for my health, my discipline won't be on point for my business, right? Which most might see, oh, you're doing great and blah, blah, blah. But there are so many things I'm lacking on when it comes to that. There's so many things that I'm leaving on the table because I'm just like, I don't have the energy for it right now. Or I don't have the mental capacity for it. And then relationships, who you accept into your life, who you're willing to let touch you, who you're willing to let go out with you, who you're even entertaining in conversations is so important. Like, I just went out last weekend to R&B party. It was so much fun.
I saw you.
I love me little R&B. Usher.
I was like, girl, I was so upset. I did not know about that.
Girl, sold out. It was such a good time.
I cannot believe
old
it.
heads in there. It was great. So I met this guy, right? Oh, he was so cute.
Let me hold on. Let me adjust my seat.
He had these golds and he was gorgeous. And we're talking and then we danced a little bit. And I don't know why you got my real number, but I did. And then I leave and I was like, wow. He was beautiful. That was great. We were texting and I had one conversation with him and I said, this ain't it.
This ain't it.
I don't care. There's not one man in this world. I don't care how fine you are. I don't care how much you can dance. I don't care how much you can sex me and you say you can. None of that will get me to give you my energy, because that energy that you're bringing to me is going to flow over into everything else. Yes. It's going to flow into everything else. Now, you're 26. How old's your daughter?
No, 27.
27, sorry.
Yeah, my daughter's 5.
I'm stuck on 26.
I don't know. I'll take it. Hey.
She's how old?
She's 5.
So 21 you were when you had her.
I was 22. When I was pregnant at 21.
I had her at 22.
I was 6 months fresh into being 21. Living my best life.
I don't know what's going on with my numbers. And how we're getting this talking I was an accountant. Where's your math?
Yeah.
Okay. So you were young and you're married.
We're together.
You're Spanish.
Yeah, we're
casado. You're in a relationship with your daughter's dad. Yeah. And one thing that I don't know much about you, and I don't need you to go like super into detail of your relationship.
Yeah, I keep him very like, not that I'm trying to hide him, but like I do sometimes see the energy or feel energy from certain women when they see that support or see what I have, and I'm just like, that's good. I'll keep this part private, but I'm fine talking about it.
I hate that.
Yes, me too.
I hate that because when I see it for anyone else, and they have a man that's supportive, and I'm like, that is amazing.
Yes,
like I want that one day. Yeah. I want a man that everyone because I've already had the one that pretended to support you, and then once they get you, they're the biggest hater.
Mm-hmm. You know, they don't want you to do more than them. Yeah.
But they become the biggest haters. Yeah. So how do you balance now being so young? Because at your age, 27, from 21 to 27, those are party years. Those are when people be like, oh, this is when I'm going to fuck off. But you and him seem to be like walking in a path where he's in his lane, you're in yours, and you're both supporting each other while raising a child.
Yeah, I do feel like we finally, and I'm not gonna sit here and portray like perfect, because we're not. We have been together since 17.
Wow.
Like we have been toxic. We have had our moments where I'm gonna tell you, I have not been the best partner. He hasn't been, but it's overall, like it is even before we had my daughter, that you have to continue to decide and make the choice that you do want to. Like the same way you could, you have a frustrating year in business, you can choose to quit. No one's holding you back. After a rough year in business, you can choose to quit. No one's stopping you. People need to understand there's going to be a rough time in relationships as well. And you can choose to quit. People do.
Right.
Or you can choose each other continuously. So I feel like throughout our times, he has also started off in corporate America. Same thing as me. We worked some similar jobs as well. And he started his own company about 2 years ago. So he did his like official like, and he kind of had the same thing as me. Like we had a child. We were at this point making, you know, I'm fine with putting my income out there because I'm doing better now. But we were cashing out each other like about $1,000 every 2 weeks, right? 2K, 4K, right? But this is back like pre-COVID. Nowadays, 4K, like people, I can tell you right now, you are probably living a different lifestyle than what 4K maybe was 3-4 years ago. So I feel like he has been a partner that we support each other. Like throughout his birth of the company, I have been there, let's do it. I have helped him make flyers, make business cards, website, like, and I support him in that way. Right. And he also, same thing, like the camera that I have, like he bought it for me. Shout out to Bay. You remember? That. So I was like, I want a camera, He's like, he told me like, hey, not right now. And we're very like, he's very transparent about like our finances and very like, hey, right now we can't do this. Hey, right now we have to like do certain things. So he's very transparent about that. And he got me the camera. And that's a support to me.
It was during radio, right?
Yes, it was during that time.
You brought it to the radio and then you lost the battery.
No, I found it. I found it. I found it again. Yep, God was on my side. I found it. But I feel like when you, and not everyone's situation is different. Not everyone has the support, but I do feel like, and some people have support from different people, their moms, cousins, sisters, friends. I'm lucky that my man always supports me. And then what I say is like because I'm crazy. And he knows. He's like, one day I'm like,
you know what's crazy? Don't do that. And I'm going to stop you right there.
Okay.
Words are so important to me.
Right.
And I grew up in a Spanish household where they called me crazy all the time.
That's why that's the word that I use.
You are alive. You have
I'm very vibrant.
Yes. Like the words that we use to describe ourselves. And there's times that I'll be like, oh my God, I estoy bien loca. But it's like, no, be careful with those words because you're not crazy. You might be a little delulu. We all have to be to get to where we are.
Right.
That's fine. Don't they say delulu's a salulu?
Yeah.
Right. It is, but you're vibrant. You have so much personality. You have so much character. You have so much empathy. You care of folks. And then that scares people that aren't confident in themselves.
Yeah, that's big.
You literally are so bright that there's some people that think that your light is gonna dim theirs when it's like, girl, I can light yours.
Oh my God. So
my
so
fire
funny.
can light your
I had a client who booked me and she literally said, you know when you have a lighter and it like you feel like it goes but it doesn't spark, and then you get a lighter that is lit and you put it together and then lights the other one. She literally put that comparison of me and I was like, I love that. I was like, it's true.
Like my light is not gonna dim yours. If my candle's lit on, it's like when they do when people get married sometimes and they light a candle together.
Yeah.
It's like I can light yours up and you can now stay lit, and then you can use that to light somebody's up. But there's some motherfuckers out here who take that damn light and light up the house on fire.
Right.
That was not the fucking purpose of the damn candle.
That was not what it was.
You were supposed to light somebody else's candle and then we can have
and we were supposed to spread
candle
it around.
ceremony.
What's happening? Yeah.
You are now an arsonist. You were supposed to have a candle ceremony and now you done burned up the whole place in the town. Like, don't do that. You become a cancer. And it's like, that's not who you are. Right. That wasn't who I was at your age. I was so loud. I couldn't sit still in these offices. They'd be like, oh, where are you? Why aren't you there? You're late from lunch. My work is done. Leave me alone.
Right.
Like, I don't want to sit.
My tasks are complete. I don't even know
8 hours, just sit there just because I have to. Absolutely not. I'm going to go walk around the building and find some chisme that somebody's doing. Like,
right. The cubicle's like, hey, Martha, what you got today? Like, yeah.
Yo, what you eating for lunch? Let me see.
Yeah,
like
some of that.
That's not what everyone is, but it also separates us from what it is. So basically the reason why I love that we're having this conversation because you might be 27, you might still be younger, but people, my audience who is a tad bit older, and there's a lot of younger people that are listening as well, it's not too late.
No.
It's not too late. I'm 37 and I'm like, dang, my best friend just turned 40. And she looks amazing. There's still so much we can do. And I'm like, if that's 40,
right,
I can still start new things at 60.
Right.
I can still, at 40, I don't know where I'll be.
But
Because I didn't expect to be here
Right.
at 30.
And the years are still going to pass.
No
Like,
matter what.
5 years, like, I have family members who say that, like, oh, they're overweight, so they just accept it because they're old, or they don't have a degree, so they just accept it, and it's just like, you don't have to, right? No matter if you're 27, 21, 35, 45, 55, it does not matter. You still have another 3-5 years. And look how much you guys probably don't know my story, but if you follow me, like, and you scroll back, I have gone through such tremendous growth, not only in my mindset, business, financial, like, relationships, so much that you can still grow in.
How many pounds did you lose?
Ooh, I was 220 and now I'm like 155. So that's like 70-ish pounds.
Wow. And
yeah.
That's all mindset.
Yeah.
That's all mindset. Do you think that losing that weight helped you become more successful? And
Immediately,
make more money?
Yes, 100%. 100%. Because I wasn't feeling, when I was overweight, it affects you. I'm sorry, but like, no hate, like no hatophobia or whatever. I just personally did not like being overweight. Everything was more difficult. Every action that I did, tying my shoes, my belly wouldn't let me tie. I had to help. Can someone tie my shoe? That's embarrassing. My daughter was like 1, 2. I couldn't keep up. I had a 2-story house up and down. I was out of breath, girl. So, and my family has a history, medical condition, high blood pressure. So I have to take care of myself. And I wasn't feeling good. So that whole mindset from people telling me, dim your light, plus me already feeling bad about myself, when that combines, it's like the perfect recipe for anxiety, depression, which I was. I felt like, it's sad to say, but I didn't have thoughts of like, doing anything to myself, but I did think that other people, everyone around me was better off with me gone. Like you do have those thoughts. You feel like
a burden to everyone else.
A burden. You're just like this slob. And I feel like once I started losing weight, my confidence came back. Not because of how I look, but I mean, that's a part of it. But it's just seeing like, damn, I can be disciplined. Damn, I do show up for myself. I can do this. Like, just doing that for yourself made me feel confident to now step into the room and be like, you're not about to disrespect me. You're not about to think I'm whoever. No, I come in and I'm like, and I'm Didi. Hello, yes, very much. I come up as myself, and I feel like the gym, putting myself in a better condition and being disciplined has helped me tremendously. How I show up, like, your in appearance. Business.
So yeah, your appearance, your health catapulted you into a different space work-wise.
Yeah.
And I feel like a lot of people don't believe that. We have this mindset in the world. Even for me, I've never been 200 pounds. Well, I was when I gave birth to Psalm.
Yeah.
So I've never been overweight, but I feel it inside. And there's not one person that can tell me I'm like, I feel it.
Yeah, you feel it. Other people can tell you, you're looking beautiful. I never said I was ugly. Right. It's just something that you feel within yourself, and then it affects your work. Because if that's the first thing, if you want to get entrepreneur space, if you want to be better, 9 to 5, anything, please work on yourself first. Whether if you already look good, then maybe you need to work on your mindset. If it's both, you need to work both at the same time, because that internally is what will, like, what will affect your surroundings.
The energy you get out. You don't even realize you give out a dark energy.
Yes. Oh my God. Yes.
That you give it out, and like we said, it's not
on purpose.
Phobia. It's not because this isn't even about like being overweight. It's just not being where you could be, right? Where you're not maximizing your body. Then your body has to do with your mind. Your health helps your thought process. Your thought process changes how you work in your business, at your job.
Reaction.
All of it. So all of it works together, and then all of that will then change your friendships. Yeah. It will change your relationships. The second that you start working on your body, which is great that actually your hubby, was able to witness that change in you, because you will drop a lot of people, and usually it's those closest to you.
Right.
There's like,
funny story.
Go ahead.
No, because we did have like a period of time where we were really like broken up. Like, it was something where it was that time where we were just like, everyone, like, we were literally on our separate ways. Yeah.
And that was that when you started or before?
Yes. It was around that time, because usually it was the opposite for me. Like, I would go to food to like make me happy. And I feel like once you lose that person, that in this case, like we literally grew up together in a relationship, when I lost that person, girl, nothing appealed to me. Nothing. So that kind of catapulted my journey, was like that, plus feeling like I have nothing. And not having him there was like, okay, what do I have now? Just yourself.
Right.
So I had to like put the mirror up. And sometimes people think everything has to fall apart for better things to grow.
Mm-hmm.
And that time that we had where we were literally broken up was probably the best thing that has ever happened in our relationship, because then I was forced to look in the mirror. Like, I couldn't blame him anymore. I couldn't blame him.
Or the outside world.
Right. I had to blame myself. Yep.
Well, and it's not even blaming yourself. It's more of taking accountability. What have I done to get here? What are the irresponsibilities that I've done to get here? I can say that about myself all day long. I've made choices in relationships. I've made choices in parenting. I've made choices in business. I've made choices in friendships. And the second that I had to, turn that away, I had to separate myself from some people that were just out all the time. I had to separate myself from negative mindsets. I had to separate myself from people that were just like out here doing the most and had different values. I had to separate myself from certain clients. Even clients, it's like, that doesn't align with me anymore. I've had to separate myself from employees.
Right.
You got to go. What you're doing right now is not aligning with me anymore. And I want to go to the next level. And to go to the next level, you have to have everything has to fall into place. And then there's bumps in the road, of course, like, you're always going to bump your head somewhere. And it's like, all right, patch it up, keep it moving. You just keep moving. But this conversation, I really love that we had, because it applies to anyone. But I want visually for people to see a Gen Z person, someone so young to be able to be a part of that. And then for me being a later aged millennial. And then we have Gen X, who's a little bit older than me. And then we have boomers. And then we have the silent generation. I know all of this because across generations. I had no idea silent generation was still alive. But they're around and kicking and looking great. And they're still doing things to evolve themselves. And it's like, be around those folks that continually want to do more. And if you're watching your friendship group, and your friendship group is not one to support you, my girls, from Jenna to Dex to Paola to May, Mandy, like, when I tell you we hype each other up.
Yeah, as you should.
What are you doing? When my friends win, bro, you couldn't tell me I didn't win.
Yeah, period.
Yeah, it's like, what? So I love every time my friends win. So find friends that not only want to see you win, but support you in that win.
Exactly.
And support you in that journey, because you know how many times Jenna has called me that can be a model, and I'm like, my little chubby self.
I was at the studio with that day. Yeah.
I'm like, what? I have not hit the gym. So, but I show up and I do the photo shoots with her, or I'm like, hey, I need you to come on the podcast with me, or she did a photo shoot with me for my website, or Dex needs things for me to do with her, or she'll come do things with me. May and I will get on the phone and say, what do you need? How can I support you? What are my strengths? My strengths are business and coming up with ways to monetize things. She's just a genius with different things. Come to me. I'll find you a way to.
No, that's amazing. I feel like we need to also like monetize our relationship, because sometimes like I don't want a friend to want, girl. I don't want no bum friends either. Like, I'm sorry, but no.
Thank you. No. Because sometimes like, oh, I don't want to take advantage of my friends. That's what they love to do.
Right.
If that's what they love to do, bring value to them. They'll bring value to you.
Exactly.
And that's what you need to know. One thing is, I don't want no broke friends. No. I don't want no bum ass friends. I don't want nobody with just this like, I can't do.
No, we want our friends to be very demure, very mindful,
very
not
classy, very rich. But it's not just rich in money, it's rich in
mindset,
everything.
rich in mindset.
Yeah, very rich and demure, but it's the right kind of rich.
Right.
wealthy. But before we get out of here, I do have a letter that we received. If you have any questions, you can go ahead and send them to askcarlawilmaris@gmail.com, or you can DM me, Pivot with Purpose, or don't send it to mine. I'm not going to see it. Nobody's not going to respond. Maybe not. So send it to the podcast page, or just go ahead and send me a quick email. This one says, my wife is close to her breaking point with my family. This is some family drama. I love it. I'm an expert at it.
Let's sit back.
All right. It says, I'm currently dealing with a lot of anxiety due to the ongoing tension between my wife and my family. So this is a man. Might be a woman. Who knows? My wife, who is Filipino American, is close to cutting ties with them, and while it's stressing me out, I understand her reasons. Issues began at our wedding when my mother's partner insisted my wife speak French, which she wasn't comfortable with yet. My uncle also upset her by repeatedly emphasizing her Filipino origin in front of her family, despite her being American citizen. My family also caused drama because we chose a non-traditional wedding, which my grandfather opposed. Your family got a lot of opinions.
Your family got a lot.
They need to calm down. Since then, my mother's critical comments during visits have only worsened the situation. Now, with our child's upcoming baptisms, tensions are rising again over the location and guest list. Yo no entiendo. Let me finish. Because your wife is right, I think.
Right.
My wife feels I haven't done enough to protect her, probably. While I try to address issues pragmatically, she wants me to set clear boundaries based on values. Despite her efforts to connect with my family, I fear we're approaching a breaking point. I don't want our child to grow up without a connection to his French family, but I'm struggling with how... Oh, French.
So he's French.
He's French. I've heard about y'all French motherfuckers. Paris, they be rude. But I'm struggling with how to maintain that contact while respecting my wife's feelings. My family has always been difficult, and I've tried to explain this to my wife, but change seems unlikely. This is so clear.
I mean...
Nigga, grow some balls.
Yeah.
Like, wee. Grow it. Grow one.
Yeah. I honestly think, like, when it comes down to family... Like, you have to understand, yes, you have your family. We come from our moms, our father. Yeah, yes, that's amazing, and we need to honor them. However, we need to respect and prioritize the family that we are currently creating, the family that we currently have. And that's your wife. You need to have your family respect. Like, there's not even go back and forth.
Mama, he said my wife.
Right. There's no back and forth. You need to respect her. This is what you want. Like, it. No. And the family needs to be checked.
I don't think she's asking for anything that's too much. She's not. She's asking for the bare minimum. Set clear boundaries. She's Filipino American. You are French. There are two cultures there.
Right.
There are ways to do two things. You could have had, maybe you don't have money wise, but you could have had two weddings and made those two, have a whole French wedding and have a Filipino American wedding, you know?
But it's like, why? We shouldn't have to like...
If you wanted to, you
know,
if you wanted to, right.
The American. I know. I know what I'm talking about.
So that's an option if you got the money. If you don't, you do what the hell you want.
Right.
And you have to be clear with your mom. This is my wife.
Right.
You need to respect and have boundaries. Now, a great book on this. I think I say it every episode. It's Boundaries by Dr. John Townsend. It is on audio versions. It is on Hoopla and Libby for free. It is on Spotify. It is on Audible. It is everywhere. You can pick it up at any bookstore and on Amazon. Get that book. Set clear boundaries. The people that it's going to push away are those that don't respect you and don't really love you. Right. But your wife is not wrong here, and the baptism is coming up. Who pushed that baby out her vagina?
Right.
Do you know what the ring of fire is, sir? That is when your vagina goes from this big to this. And then shoulders come out.
Yeah.
Your mama had you. That's it. She had that baby. And whatever, if she feels like baptizing that baby with some holy oil or some canola oil or some masola, she can get to do that. She's Filipino. I don't know what
oh my God. No,
what Filipinos be doing?
I don't know.
What they be eating?
I don't know.
It's not sushi. Sushi is
We're very
Japanese.
Mindful here, so we don't know. But we're going to find out.
I'm not very Filipino demure. So I don't know. But whatever Filipinos be eating, that's what she could do. Like, it doesn't matter. The point is, she can do as she pleases with her child as long as you are right there with her and you need to support her.
Yeah.
And like, no. Somehow speak French. I would have cussed you out in French. I would have learned 3 cuss words.
I would have learned 3 cuss words. You would have known I speak French right away.
Security in French. Security, oui. Out.
Oui.
Get him out of here.
Right.
No, I think that you just need to grow some balls and really
stand up for your wife.
What should I do? Stand up for your wife.
Right. That's it. Stand up for your wife.
And then happy wife, is that what this? Happy wife, happy life?
Yes. And
that doesn't mean that you're miserable. That means that when you're providing for her and you're serving her, she's serving you right back.
Yeah.
And you guys are a unit. And when the people around you see that you guys are a strong unit, they'll get it.
Then they'll put respect on your name. They'll get respect on your name.
Some respect.
Yes.
On my name. All right. The same way we're going to put some respect on the Lord, because we're going to finish off this episode now. And I always finish every episode with a Bible verse. And for this one, I feel like one of the biggest deterrents from folks going forward with their careers, with their life, with their relationships, whatever it may be, is fear.
Yeah.
There's a fear of rejection. There's a fear of failure. If you fail at what you're trying to do, try again. Failure can be a lesson.
Failure is feedback.
Absolutely. So Psalms 34. Think about baby. My baby's Psalm 91. But Psalms 34, 4-8, it says, I sought the Lord and he answered me. He delivered me from all my fears. Those who look to him are radiant. Their faces never covered with shame. This poor man called and the Lord heard him. He saved him out of all his troubles. The angels of the Lord encamps around those who fear him and he delivers them. Taste and see that the Lord is good. Blessed is the one who takes refuge in him, which actually is part of Psalm 91 as well. But this for here is the Lord, he answered me. He delivered me from all my fears. So for me, one of the biggest things that I do when I'm fearful of things, and this is a constant battle for me because I'm going into rooms. Like I literally had to send a contract requesting $20,000 a month. I said, well, who the hell you think you are?
Who do you think you is?
Right. And then fear kicks in.
Yeah.
And then imposter syndrome kicks in. Why would anyone pay me that?
Ooh.
Why?
That's another topic you need to talk about.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Me? I'm at my home. I'm from Orlando. I'm just a regular schmegler girl who farts all day. It's gassy. I be burping. I pick my nose. I talk about poop on social media. Why would anyone trust me with a big project? And that fear sets me to every time I go, Lord, just be here with me. Help me send. Like I sweat. Literally, I tremble sending an email sometimes to clients when I send proposals. Every time I send, I'm like, hi, yeah. And I start screaming. I usually have someone on FaceTime.
I literally have
one of my friends on FaceTime. I have one of my producers on FaceTime, and I'm just nervous, but I send it anyway. But that doesn't mean that I'm not fearful of the rejection.
Right.
That just means that I have to sit here and say, God, you let it be whatever it's going to be. And I've gotten no's. And those no's have later turned into something else because I needed that no in order to get the next yes.
Right.
You know, so just go for it. Sometimes they'll tell you, not right now.
Right. It's not no, it's just not this one.
Today.
Right.
Might be in a year from now. You know, to get one of my biggest contracts, it took a year. It was communication for a year until I finally sent this and they agreed to everything that I said. So I bring all this to say that when it comes to tackling fear and anxiety, for me, it's both. I get extremely anxious. All of the Psalms books are very rich in tackling all of that. Just pray about it. Know that he will cover you. Know that he is there. Know, again, faith without works is dead. That's not in Psalms, it's in James, but it's the same thing. He will cover you. And I need you to look at people that truly have faith. And I always talk about here the Bible, and I talk about Jesus Christ, that it's my faith, but that can be whatever faith you're in. Just believe in something. When you don't believe in something, you'll fall for anything. So most religions are those like it's be a good person type situation. Right. But for me and Jesus, when I look at folks that are Christian and are really disciplined and obedient, you can see it on their face. You can see it in the way they walk. Does that mean they don't have bad days? And there's days that it's like everything crumbles down, but sometimes God has to knock it all down to build it back up. Mm-hmm. So again, that is Psalms 34, 4-8. So just know that if you seek the Lord, he will answer you and he will deliver you from every single one of your fears. It's going to be scary, but do it scared.
Amen.
Do it scared.
I love that.
All right, well, that is another episode. Didi, where can they find you? And if they want to work with you, or they want to see you or whatever it is, be motivated by you.
Yeah, so it's Didi, that's Didi.Ramos with 2 S's. You'll find me on Instagram. TikTok, we're working on it.
I'm surprised because y'all Gen Zers love TikTok.
I know. You know what? I used to love TikTok more, and then I kind of started loving Instagram more. But I want to get on TikTok, so you'll find me there soon. Don't worry. I'll be on there.
Well, this is another episode of Pivot with Purpose. I'll see you guys again next week. Goodbye.